Hey everybody, it's Cam. Welcome back to the channel. It's Monday, March 22nd. It's about 1:12 p.m., so 10 minutes after the close. And in this video, we're going to be looking at TKAT and other NFT stocks, so non-fungible token stocks. They've been hot last week, and they ripped higher today on crazy momentum. So we'll start with TKAT, as it is a leader in the clubhouse. Most of the other players are just moving in sympathy with it. It's got the highest gains. As you can see, looking at the top here, closed at 49 bucks today on the dot, up 65% from Friday's close. So here we got the daily chart, the fib levels here. So the green ones are from the 2-day move from the 17th and the 18th. The blue is just the 17th on the day. Probably blue's probably gonna be invalidated now, but if we zoom in here, get it all on a 5-minute chart for the entire move. Last 2 weeks, you see we put in a good bit of base here between 30 and 25 bucks. 25 was the high off of the 17th, and then the last 2 days, right, we couldn't get through 25, so the stock stayed up. So Friday the low is 25.50, or excuse me, 25.81. Today's low is 25.55. So stayed high, pushed up higher throughout the day. So Friday here we get this upward momentum right in the morning, pull back to the moving average, volume tightens up, stair stepped up, crossed over the 200 EMA for the second time as the 9 crossed it, and takes off going to push that 161.8 fib, pulls back into the moving averages. Here it's 5-minute doesn't show it as well, but on the 10 we stay above the 22, keep curling back up, use the 9, and then the later half of the day touch the 10-minute 9 moving average right here, 1210, 1220, pushes to new highs right before the close, and then final 10 minutes a day, typical take profit, algo raid, whatever you want to call it. So profits got taken. You see here after hours, we are selling off a little bit, which has been typical with the move. Pretty big moves in the after hours here. So the first move on Wednesday, right, 25 pulls that all the way back to 18 in pre-market the next day. So that's almost what a 30% drop. After hours here, Thursday goes the other direction, significant move higher, 27 all the way up to 43, and then from that 43 sells back off down to 27 the next day. So the stock moves pretty rapidly in after hour pre-market, and essentially that's because it's a low float stock. It's got about a 6 million share float, so it's very volatile after hours on low volume, right? So any amount of volume will move the stock pretty significantly after hours. But like I said in the intro to this video, TKAT is a leader. Being the low float, has the widest gains and highest spread, so it makes it harder to trade, but this is the one that most people have their eyes on. If you look at financial Twitter, Reddit, StockTwits, TKAT's the most popular play, but it's the leader, and there are other sympathy plays that you can play, and we'll talk about those next. So if we just, before we move on though, so let's get rid of this blue fib. I still think the green is still in play, right? So we touched that 127 today, but I think we could draw fibs just from today's move. So 52.2 all the way down here to 25.51 opening candle, basically the end candle, and we can look at pullback levels. So after hours here, you can see, right, so we're selling off a little bit. So we'll see if the 78.6 fib will hold, right about 46.50. We do have some consolidation in that range, right? So we had basically two candles on the 10-minute chart wick right about that 46, and another one right about 46. So we do have some consolidation there, and a good chunk of volume below 46. We'll look to see if that level holds into the after hours. So next we'll go to OCG, Oriental Culture holdings. So they've been up, following TKAT on the move. So today, it's a very similar price structure and movement as a Sympathy play to TKAT, right? So bigger pullback on the open, gets a little bit lower, but we have this inside candle right here, indecision, bumps us up higher, and then we get a doji candle again right about the moving averages, and then a massive engulfing candle here right at 7:30, spikes us all the way up to 14.13, and then we pull back into the moving averages, and then we get this higher move in the afternoon as TKAT started moving higher, and another stock IMTE, which will be the last one we looked at, took off in the afternoon, which really I think pushed the other ones. But like TKAT here, got to the highs right at the end of the day, and then after hours were selling off. So the red fibs here, right? You see we pushed into that 50% level. That's actually from this all-time. So this company goes way back. So it's actually not way back. It's only about a year. But so that opening day push after its IPO got all the way up to 25.85. So we're getting right back to that 50% fib there. So look to see if that acts as a resistance going into tomorrow. And if we go back down to the 5-minute here, we'll see. Look to see after hours. After hours, not as much fib level, but we could do the same thing here into the close. Draw one from the move just today, right? So we'll look to see if this 13.4 area will hold, and obviously there's a lot of consolidation there. As you know, basically from 10:45 to 12:45, we have about 2 hours of volume in that zone from today. So next we'll look at ZKIN. So ZKIN was another company that moved. So a little bit different chart than the other two. Pretty strong chart in the morning, and then we just basically have some consolidation into the afternoon. You know, in the low 12s. So descending lower highs through the mid-afternoon, and then we break that lower high trend right into the close. Excuse me. And after hours looked like we're using this the moving average as support here, and actually moving up a little bit after hours, you know, for the first 10 minutes, and then pull back, see if this 12.2 level can hold. If this doji candle will bring in some buyers on low volume to push this thing back up. So had the initial kick after our afternoon hours, one as strong as TKAT or OCG, and I've talked about this one in ZKIN in prior videos about Tom Nash's video on them. You can look up that video that he talks about. He had somebody reach out to him trying to promote the stock for 40 grand. And this is a play that, just like Sino, I'm not going to talk about Sino in the video or look at the charts, but they will just try to jump on trends, right? So the trends, the heights here, they're going to try to ride the stock price up, and they may do an offering, who knows. So this would be a risky play. Wouldn't be an overnight play for myself, but whatever your risk tolerance is, take that into consideration. Next, we have WKEY, so Wisekey International. So right at 10 a.m., they got a massive spike. I don't believe there was any news on it, but or there was. So selected by Billion Group to provide MPKI services, allowing trusted remote document signing with blockchain technologies. So some positive news there about an agreement. So collaboration deal. I don't know if there's any terms onto it, but obviously the market reacted very favorably to it. You know, massive volume pushes things up higher. Still couldn't break through the consolidation range from last Thursday when it moved higher. Right, so a lot of consolidation around that $14 area, and you see we do have a higher amount of volume above that $14 spot. Just couldn't get that upward momentum to push us through. Got up to the edge of this trading range, sold off into the close, into power hour, and you see after hours we're still looking to move down. So here with this massive engulfing candle, we'd like to see, you know, basically this 11.6, 11.5 area as support. So after hours, this might pull down into this 200 EMA on the 5-minute chart, and we'll look to see if that holds going into tomorrow. And then IMTE, which is a stock I mentioned earlier, but they got a big move in power hour. No news up on that one. Was the one that didn't have news, but you know, pretty quiet all morning. Didn't have the large run in the morning like the other stocks did. Stayed quiet most of the day, but you know, we get this higher high from the morning sell-off, if you want to call this sell-off here. Still pretty significant, 7 down to 5.8, so almost 20%. And then we curl back up, get over the moving averages, pull back into it, use a support, indecision candle right at the moving averages. You know, pretty solid bearish candle, or excuse me, bullish candle here. You know, full green. You know, inside candle, pull to the moving average, take off like a rocket, squeeze all the way up to $10.12. Sell-off comes end of the day, and looks to see like we might be consolidating now after hours. See if this 9 EMA can provide some support. But you can see here we do have quite a bit of volume, around that 8.5 level. If we make a fib chart right there, you see 61.8 fib is right about that 8.5 level. So that could be an area to watch after hours and into tomorrow's trading. So that's what I got for you guys on these NFT stocks. I think they'll still be hot the rest of the week. I think the hype's just starting on them, building up. You got more celebrities, higher figures talking about them. Well, not the stocks necessarily, but the NFT marketplace and craze that will be taking over going forward. And then also it's tying with crypto. Bitcoin was down today, but early adapters are getting in, and this could be the time to make an entry. So hope you guys had a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.